welcome to the Love How Deep podcast with Brian and Heather Mayer. Our purpose is to equip married couples like you with resources that rely on the transformative power of God's Word to strengthen your relationship.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Love How Deep podcast. We're so grateful that you have tuned in. We hope that you're getting a lot out of our episodes, and we want to bring you not only educational and interesting topics, but we hope to have a little bit of fun today, and I'm sure that's what we're going to do, right, Heather?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun topic,
I
maybe.
think so too. It can be a frustrating one.
It can be very frustrating.
But we have to be intentional to try to make this fun.
Ooh, that's a good word, intentional.
Yes.
That's a really good word.
Yes.
That's the word of the day, folks.
Right. And what we're talking about is completing projects as a married couple. And this could really be lots of things. I mean, when I first think of this, I think of, home renovation projects, but it could be really anything. I guess it could be a crafty project. It could be putting a puzzle together.
It can be planting some flowers in the yard, doing yard work. Yes,
Thank you.
Or, putting up, like painting the house, like the inside of the house, or building a piece of furniture together. Right.
It could even be running a marathon, maybe your marathon training.
Yeah, that's
some of this
project,
maybe won't apply, but so it really could be whatever you want it to be.
But those projects could bring you closer together. They could make you want to pull your hair out. Mm-hmm. Well, pull your spouse's hair out, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it can be hard.
Yep.
Takes
it's
a lot of communication.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times the frustration just comes from the project itself, but unfortunately we end up taking it out on each other. And so what we're hoping to do for you today is to give you just some tips. I think we've got like 5 kind of broad tips we're going to go through to hopefully help you in your next project. Maybe do some things a little bit differently than what you have done now in case it's not working out well for you. So, with that, we can just go and get started if you'd like.
Yeah, I think the first step is preparation. And, for those of you who are good at preparing and making lists and planning, you're like, well, yes, of course we would do that. For those of you who are not that fond of that, it really is kind of necessary in this process for your project to come together well and for it to draw you closer to your spouse, because this is not your project. This is a team effort. So you've got to plan it out and talk to each other about what it is that you're wanting to do, and how you want to get it done, I guess. So you want to research what's the best way. Like, well, for instance, Brian and I just installed a brick wall in our basement room, which is awesome.
Brick veneer, not full brick, but thinly sliced bricks.
It's brick. So, it's brick. Okay. But we don't know anything about that. Now, we have done tiling in the past. Long time ago, we did tiling. But this is going up on a wall, and is it different? And so we don't know these things. You don't know what you don't know. So you have to ask for advice and maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos. Ask Google or whatever. When you go to the hardware store, ask the questions there as well. What is it that you're going to need? What's going to make this project go more smoothly for you? Do you have the right tools? So that preparation, you can see where that comes into play. You don't want to just be this impulsive, like, let's build a brick wall and start throwing stuff together, and then the whole wall comes crumbling down on you. So I think that planning and preparation is so important. And Benjamin Franklin said, if you fail to plan, well, then you plan to fail. Mm-hmm. Don't let that be you. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and, don't rely on just one person doing all of this planning, but both of you jump in together, watch those videos together, share with each other what you've learned maybe on your own, and share your ideas with each other. Listen to each other. Don't be quick to shoot each other down. Like, no, that's not going to work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But listen to each other and try to have a good time with that boring old planning process of it, and go shopping together to get all of your materials.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how many times we went to those wonderful home improvement stores to find everything that we needed to put up a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, now that we've finished or almost finished the brick wall, we've got some things we can return, which I'm excited about. We can get a little money back.
That is
So,
very exciting.
yes. So, yeah, so preparation, that is step number one. Number two, which you alluded to a little bit at the end there, was just communicate.
So important.
If you're a couple if you're both leaders and kind of take charge people and bulls in china shops, then this one probably is important to you or for you. And that is, you might want to talk about, okay, who's sort of in charge of this project? Who is kind of going to be the worker bee? Maybe there's certain parts of the project where one of you's a leader and one of you's a worker bee, and then maybe it flips on another part of the project. You can be creative.
And I think maybe you want to even say something like, I really feel like I would like to cut the tile. I want to use the saw and cut the bricks. Where for me, I was like, I think that I have kind of a Tetris-y sort of brain. I can figure out ways to make all the luggage fit in the trunk with my Tetris brain. And so looking at the bricks on the wall, I was like, I think that I might be I might do a good job with tracing out around those outlets and figuring out what needs to be cut and where and that sort of thing, and just kind of eyeballing some things. And so really, I think relying on the skills where, Brian, you were more than happy to use your new saw, and I was more than happy to let you, because I don't think that I would do well with the saw. So relying on each other's strengths and really approaching it from like, I would really like to try my hand at this, or I would like to try that. I think that's
just use your
a good way to converse. Yeah.
My strength is power tools.
Yeah.
And as Tim the Toolman Taylor used to say on Home Improvement, arr, 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 arr.
Oh my gosh.
That didn't even
I think you were out there, in the garage making those noises.
Right. But yeah, and your strength is, again, piecing it all together. So
puzzles, baby. It's all about the puzzle.
Right. Talking about who's in charge, how is this going to be completed, would be another conversation to have. And continuing to check in with each other. I think you did a great job. I don't know if it was yesterday or Saturday, of just, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And if you start to hear sighing or like blank stares at whatever it is, then that might be a signal that, your spouse might be wearing down.
Redness in the face.
Right. Yeah.
Pencil being thrown on the ground.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Right.
Or lots of moaning when you're trying to, pick something up. It's really heavy. It's like, Urgh!
Yeah.
Check in with each other. Hey, can I help you with that?
Right.
What do you need from me?
Yeah. And
goes a long way.
There's no harm in taking a break. I mean,
yeah.
I know we all want to get the project. We want to get this thing done. We get frustrated, but I don't know how many times I've stepped away from something that has frustrated me and I haven't been able to figure it out. I step away and it just kind of gives me a little bit of refreshment. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, I see how to do this now, or I've got an idea here.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like almost like the tortoise and the hare, that old nursery rhyme or whatever, where the hare is the one that just, oh, thank you. Yes. Where the hare just kind of just takes off and the tortoise is just kind of plodding along slowly. Who knows, maybe taking a break here and there. And I think, doesn't the tortoise end up winning the race?
He does.
So, yes.
He does.
So, yeah. So step number 2, again, make sure you're communicating well with each other.
Absolutely. That's so important. And number 3 is all about timing. So,
okay. Well, I just kind of led into that, didn't I?
I like it. I think you already mentioned taking breaks, and so I want to dive into that too. That all it takes is one of you to say, "Hey, can we take a break?" Or whether it's a 5-minute break, a 15-minute break, or something like that. Just walk away from it and then come back with fresh eyes. Or maybe it's let's just go ahead and be done with it for the night. Like, I feel myself getting tired, frustrated, exhausted, hungry, whatever it is. I feel myself getting that way. And so I need to be the one to say, hey, why don't we go ahead and take a break, and let's come back at this tomorrow and work at it a little bit more. When you go, let's go all the way back to the preparation, which was number 1, you want to kind of plan out, how long is this project going to take for you to do? And, look ahead into your weekends, or your evenings. Are we going to have time this weekend to even start it? Well, then why are we going to go rush to the store to buy anything if we can't even start it yet for another month, whatever it is. So, you don't want to rush into buying it, rush into planning it, rushing to complete it, because that's when you're going to have a lot more mistakes. And when it takes longer than you anticipate, frustration sets in. I think I can hear all of you out there going, yep, it does.
Yeah, and I will say painting for some reason does that to me. The more tired I am, the more frustrated I am, the more I tend to just sling the paint around and slop the paint around. And
me too. I don't like painting.
That's one of those activities that I need to be careful with.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in a good mood, if I'm feeling fresh, it works well. If I'm not, that's the one that goes haywire.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, so that just thinking about that timing, and if you've got some, space carved out in your life to be able to take your time doing this, you don't want to have a deadline of like, we have to get this done in 3 days, kind of a thing. And if there's no way to do it, you're just putting more stress on yourselves and on your marriage. So you don't want to be rushed. You don't want to work on this when you're both exhausted and tired, or if you're in a bad mood, that's just things are just not really going to go well. So you really want to pay attention to that. And then I already talked about taking breaks. And when it does become hard and frustrating, don't give up, like, oh, forget it, like just call the professionals in, I'm done with this or whatever. We don't want you to do that. Again, we want you to just take a break, but just continue to power through and work together as a team. This should be a good experience for the two of you. And that's what we want for you when you're completing these projects. I think Brian and I, we have done so many home improvement projects and yard projects together throughout our whole marriage. And they can be frustrating and they can be really fun. And I would say putting up this brick wall was really, really fun. Probably one of my favorite projects that we've done. But I do feel like overall it's been a very good experience for us to do this.
I would agree. And sometimes you can even have some fun. If we get stuck on something, we'll say, well, let's ask Siri, or flip a coin, or maybe if you have the good old magic 8-ball, and you want to ask it, should I do this right now? And if it might say reply hazy. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that's kind of a pause where you don't necessarily have to take the advice of Siri or the magic 8-ball, but you're just trying to make it a little bit fun, trying to lighten the mood a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about fourth tip strategy that will be helpful. And this is all about when you're getting started. Obviously, the most important thing is to pray. And I would say that nothing is too small or too, not delicate. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but there's nothing too small for God. Let's just say that.
And there's nothing too silly. So to say, pray before you start building a wall together, like, oh, that sounds silly. Does God really care? Yes, he cares, because he knows what this is going to take for the two of you to be able to do this. He knows you inside and out.
Right.
And, you pray for wisdom on how to do it. Pray for understanding of each other.
Unity.
Pray for unity. Yep. Good. Yeah. And I just took over your whole point.
Oh, no.
I'm going to be quiet.
No, you're fine. Actually, you gave me a moment to think about the word, and the word I was looking for was inconsequential. There's nothing inconsequential when it comes to praying. So certainly do that. Kind of a tangible, practical thing about getting started is to lay out all of your supplies. Make sure you're putting them in one location. And this way it helps you with stopping and starting, because you might think, oh, it's just going to be faster if we just get going with this thing and we'll just grab the tools as we need them. We'll go look around for them. And of course, as you're hearing me say this, you're probably thinking, no, that's not going to work.
It's not, because we don't know where we store those tools.
Right. So one thing that we have, we in the project we're doing now, we have a 5-gallon bucket, and have got some kind of thing that kind of drapes over it, and it almost looks like a tool belt for
It's like
the
pockets.
yeah, it's got pockets
Yeah.
and so we put a bunch of things inside the 5-gallon bucket. We
Yeah.
put lots of items in the pockets, and so it's kind of all there, and it makes it really handy dandy.
Yeah, so you don't have to go looking for the tape measure,
Yeah.
and plus we put up like a long folding table with to
Mm-hmm.
work on and
Yeah.
to put more supplies like
Right.
the gloves and the face masks and
Yeah.
like the grouting tool, like all of these things.
Right.
They're all just laid out and
Yeah.
making it so easy so that you're not
Right.
hunting.
That's right. And you're not going to know every single thing. I mean, you're going to get started with something and you're going to go, "Oh, I think this might be helpful." So, of course, you're not going to have 100%, but try to get as good as you can with it.
You know what I liked, Brian, about something that you did as far as finding out the supplies you needed.
Tell me,
You,
Heather.
I don't know if you were probably on Google or reading some article, and there was a graphic that listed out all
Oh,
of the tools that you
right.
would need
Yes.
to complete this brick wall.
Yeah.
And you took a screenshot of that, and it
Yeah.
was you were like, "Look at this! Look what I found! Now we know what we
Right.
need." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that is awesome!
It's
That
the
was
magic-
fantastic."
Yes, the magic of the internet.
I mean,
back in the day, we didn't have this, so why don't we
No.
utilize it if we have it?
yeah.
Yeah. I think back in the day, we were just kind of winging it, but we've definitely got a lot of help now with the internet. Another thing, this is kind of a random sort of a little bit a different take on this, but we love to play music. If that's your thing, do it. It helps create a little bit of a relaxing atmosphere, or maybe you want it to be a little bit more upbeat to kind of get your blood pumping and get you going.
Yeah.
So
I
whatever.
like having the music. It's
Yeah,
fun. It
right.
gives me something to like kind of sing along to or dance along to while I'm cutting bricks or whatever I'm
Yeah.
doing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fun.
Right. Yep. It's good stuff.
Mhm.
And then finally on the getting started part, go into it with an attitude of making sure that I'm gonna make sure throughout this project that I stop and I pause and take a look at what we've done, all the great work that we've done. I want to make sure I encourage you, and then
Yeah.
hopefully you will encourage me,
Yes.
and it will help keep us going. So go into it when you're started. Go into it with a positive attitude that we're going to be positive and we're going to encourage each other.
It's
And
important.
to continue to kind of look at the progress. That is one thing I love about a project, something physical that you're doing. You can often like see the product, the progress. It's there and you can see it, and I think that's great. It's something that can help you keep going. So now that we've talked about what do you do when you get started, well, let's get kind of like a home improvement show. Within 20 minutes, they go from start to finish. So we're going to talk about what do you do when you're finished.
Yeah. So we're done with that brick wall. So what are we going to do? We're going to say congratulations on a job well done. We're going to sit back and we're going to admire it. We're going to look at that space that we've created together and maybe talk about like how we felt about it or how we feel about it looking at it, and how did we feel when we were doing it? What did we most enjoy about that? What were the memories that were sort of created because of that, but just taking a moment to just sit back and breathe and just say, God, thank you so much for drawing us closer together as a couple. Like, I don't want that to sound silly to y'all, because to me, that's so important. Just to, if you're going to pray to ask for his help, when you get his help, you want to say, God, I thank you. Thank you for helping us through this project, and really pay attention to each other's mindset and emotions. And do you feel more connected as a couple? Do you feel more connected? That's what it's all about, and just, continue to compliment each other. Like, hey, you did such a great job. You were so talented with that, power tool or, whatever it is. Like just build each
Yeah.
other up.
Yeah.
Build each other up.
I love the projects because you made mention of it last night. You started thinking back to all the projects we've ever done with each other. And so what you're doing here is you're kind of creating a memory of what you've done together. And then hopefully years down the road, you'll look back and you'll say, gosh, remember when we did the brick veneer wall, or remember when we tiled, or remember when we did this, or
remember
we did
when
that.
we put in flooring,
Yeah.
when you swapped out light fixtures.
Yeah.
Remember when
And-
you held the flashlight for me when I was doing whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe, remember when I threw the pencil down and was so frustrated and, but look how it came out. I mean, maybe it didn't all go completely well, but hopefully you look back on it with some fondness.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's what we want for y'all. And we do want to leave you with this verse. Romans 15:5 says, "May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind toward each other that Christ Jesus had." So right there, God gives us endurance to tackle something like this together, and encouragement to us. You know, we feel that in our spirit, I think, from the Holy Spirit. And we want to have that endurance and encouragement in our marriage for our spouse. We want to have that attitude, that mindset that Christ Jesus has towards us. So I wanted to leave you with that. And then also just encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, little nuggets. I love the word of the day, the conversation starter of the day kind of thing that is put in there, and just a review of other things that you might have missed with Love How Deep. But yeah, go ahead, sign up for that newsletter, check it out, see what it's all about, share it with your friends, family, and anyone else that's married.
Yeah, and that'll be in the show notes, or
Yes.
you can go to lovehowdeep.com/newsletter to get a copy of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that, we will go ahead and wrap up. And thank you so much for listening. And it's been a pleasure. And we've always enjoyed bringing you just new and exciting and different episodes. And so thank you so much for listening. Take care until next time.